Welcome to the We Can Do It Women movement, where women 60 and wiser step into the spotlight and make the rest of their lives the best of their lives. I'm your host, Debra Morrison, a wealth building expert and champion for extraordinary women just like you. For over 47 years, I've helped women secure their financial futures, and now I'm on a mission to ignite a revolution. Yes, I am, showing the world that at 60, 70, and beyond, some of us might be a nickel slower, yet we're all just getting started. And our esteemed guest today is Mimi Donaldson, coming to us from Marina del Rey, California. And she is an American motivational speaker, author, and acclaimed speaking coach, best known for her humor and impactful keynote speeches, as well as her work coaching speakers for TEDx talks and business presentations. Mimi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Debra.
You're most welcome. So I'm going to give our audience a little bit more background, and then I want to get into some of your expertise because it's rich beyond words. So for over 30 years, it was child labor. Mimi captivated audiences from the Fortune 100 to just plain fortunate. I love that. She's won acclaim for her rousing keynote speeches, compelling workshops, and in-house training programs. Yep. She's chaired the Keynote platform with Colin Powell, very impressed. Katie Couric, very impressed. Susie Orman, not so much. Okay, but good for you. She is now a speaker coach for TEDx talkers, keynote speakers, and business owners. And since 2018, and this probably is an old number, so you update us for the record, Mimi, you've coached how many? 24 speakers to the TEDx stage or more?
25.
I figured as much. Excellent. And you've been a visiting professor at Harvard University Center for Public Leadership at the Kennedy School of Government. So this is quite an impressive background. You've also written books, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But you got your education, you got your BA in speech and dramatic arts from the University of Iowa, and a master's in education from Columbia University. And of course, that is right across the river. You spent 10 years experience as a human resources specialist with companies like Walt Disney, small little companies, Northrop Aircraft, and Rockwell International. Holy camole, Mimi, tell us from whence you came. You came from Iowa. Now, I was raised on a farm, so Iowa, like, is a lot of cornfields, yeah, and a lot of wrestling. But beyond that, I'm kind of glad you got to Columbia. I'm just saying, that's my vote. That's my bias.
I'm a Midwesterner, born and raised.
Yeah.
Born in Chicago, raised in Peoria, Illinois, and went to University of Iowa, one of the best schools in the country.
It is a great school. Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
It is. So what led you into, like, as a young girl and so forth, you wanted to get in speech and dramatic arts? Were you just like a ham bone around the community? Yeah.
Yes, I always say I wanted the bright lights of Broadway. I was seriously a singer, actor, dancer, had all the leads in the high school plays.
Of course.
Went to school and majored in drama, a very unuseful, not useful major undergrad. And then in order to get a job, I had to get a master's degree. Yeah. So I went to Columbia Teachers College, which is the best one in the country. Loved it. Love New York City so much. Exactly. And just realized that I'm a natural teacher. I've always been a teacher. I always will be a teacher because when you look up the education, the Latin root of the word educate, it means educare, E-D-U-C-A-R-E, which doesn't mean to put information in. It means to draw out.
Oh, right.
So that changed my life. It gives me goosebumps in my face because you have to really believe in order to be a true teacher, and everybody who's drawn to me is a teacher at heart, because you have to believe everybody's got everything they need inside. Your job as the teacher is to educate, to draw out, so that you're smiling and nodding right now. When I tell my speakers that I coach, I go, when they're smiling and nodding, they're not agreeing with your content necessarily, but they're going, oh, I know.
Yeah, I got that.
I know that. I got that. They'll even say, I thought she was going to say that. Yep, I know that. So they know. And your job is to draw it out and have them recognize it. So that's why I'm a coach now, is to draw out the speeches from people that they have inside of them.
Totally good. Totally good. Now, your corporate work, we're going to get into your coaching because you've done that more recently. But that corporate work, holy moly, Walt Disney
That was,
Company.
yeah.
I mean, so many books I've read on working at Walt Disney Company. How was that? Was that just freaking amazing?
Well, it was, I'm telling you, it looked great on my resume.
Yeah.
Uh, they, it does. And they tell you that right at the beginning. It was my first corporate job. I was a human resources person. So I was a stand-up trainer. So I was still teaching.
Okay.
But they told me right at the beginning, which I realize now is not legal to say, but they said, you won't stay long, but it'll look great on your resume. And I realized I had never been in personnel. I knew that I didn't know they weren't supposed to say that.
Yeah, right.
But as it turned out, it was a really fabulous experience, terrific. But HR, teaching people how to manage people, I love that.
Yeah.
It's my thing I've done all my life. And it led to me getting the job at Northrop Aircraft in human
Yes.
resources. They were impressed by the Disney name. And so it was wonderful because in HR at Northrop, I got to train managers how to manage 5 levels of management. It was crazy, but you had to teach the guys how to be human to their employees.
That whole emotional intelligence.
Yes, that was very fun in the 80s. I was there in the 80s before I started my own business in 1984. And then I just did training for aerospace companies because I knew the language of Northrop and Rockwell. So my first clients were Aerospace Corp and Hughes and JPW and all those kinds of places.
A lot of white men.
Lot of white men.
An Asian maybe thrown in sideways, right?
There were all kinds of races because when you're on the assembly line, it's a real wonderful melting pot. And the guys were really, it's like they're all ex-military who work there. And the military, I always say, is the really first meritocracy where they did not see color or religion they're all united for a goal. And at Northrop, I just found the guys to be fantastic. Yes, they were blue collar. Yes, we're very different in every bit of our background, but that didn't matter.
Right.
It was wonderful experience. And they taught me how to talk to men because talking to men is very different than talking to women. I'm sorry, I know that gender's fluid now and you can't, talk about that, but it just was, they taught me how to talk to them. How do I make contact and how do I communicate to a guy who does not have a master's degree from Columbia?
Exactly. All right, so spill the beans. How do you talk to a white man?
No, white, I'm not so sure. I don't know.
Okay.
The main difference, and my most famous keynote speech for 20 years, the 90s and the early 2000s, was a speech called Men and Women, Can We Talk? And you can see snippets of it on my YouTube channel, but I can't do that speech anymore because the humor comes from the stereotypes. And now there are no stereotypes, which is great. I mean, I'm like all for forward progress, but it's not funny to say that men don't ask for directions anymore. Exactly. You can't get the laugh. I'm not doing that speech. I'm so glad I don't have to do that speech. And so, but it was like the huge speech. It was the one that got me on the Keynote platform with Colin Powell. He was the celebrity. It was the year 2000. He had just written his autobiography. And so they gave a copy of it to everybody in the room, but I was one of the keynote speakers on the one-day thing. He was the guy, but I was the one before lunch. And it was wonderful, but I did Men and Women, Can We Talk? That's it. I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm glad I'm off the platform. Your people were doing over 60, those women. I really got off the stage at 65 and started an entire new career. I mean, I was coaching for free because I thought, the big companies can pay me the big bucks. Gotcha. But my girlfriends on the couch, when they want to, they have to do a speech. oh, Mimi, help me, you're a speaker. And I would do it. And then one day, a woman, I was doing her award-winning speech with her, 5 minutes. She hates speaking, big CEO, multimillionaire company, multi-million-dollar company. And she actually said the 7 words that changed my life at the end of the 2 hours when we wrote that speech. And she said, Meme, I would have paid you for this. I would have paid you for this. I went, what? No, I literally went, wait, what? And she said, Meme, all money is an indication of value in the world. She said, what you've just given me is value. And I went, really? I was like, it was so weird to me that I could, because women fall into a trap that because we love something and it comes easily to us, why would we ever pay for it? Because it's not about that. Giving joy is still value.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
Drawing people out has got value in the world, and we are material beings and we have to live in a material world. So we need to, money is how we do that.
Yeah.
And I had this all stupid stuff around money. I could only take money from big companies, not my friends. That's a girl thing. And so when I mentor women who are starting their own business, I tell them the story of Janet on the couch. And Janet is still the great ending of that story is she's a member of Women Business Owners National Association like me. And so over the last 20 years since that day on the couch, she remembers it very well.
Of course she does.
And
yes.
And then 10 years later, she had sold her business to a French company. And then she said, Meme, I want you to write a speech again with me, but this time it's a TED Talk. And I said, well, Janet, you're going to have to pay me this time. And she said, I know, people say you tell that story now. And I go, yeah, I tell that story.
Yeah. I think that is amazing. And it is so apropos that women have, to your point, I mean, like we share a recipe, we share a recommendation for a restaurant and so forth and so on. And there's this reticence to, value what we have that is known talent or just, maybe you're born with it or whatever. But nonetheless, I'm so grateful that you had that experience with Janet on the couch and that you're now poised to and continuing to coach people around crafting TEDx talks. Now, this is an amazing accomplishment, a TEDx talk. I did one in 2019.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and it was the first time the theater had done a TEDx, so there's a couple of hiccups, and it was a little bit gnarly. And yet, I tell you, it's on everybody's lips. And so, everybody, you guys, whomever still wants to be on this TEDx stage, Mimi's your gal. She'll
Thank you
through and get you positioned. So tell us how. I mean, when I gave mine, I think it was 18 minutes, and couldn't be 18 minutes and 1 second. So I know that they can be shorter. So talk to us about how you draw out of people their salient stories, because TEDx is about learning something, right? That's the
ideas worth sharing.
So
ideas worth spreading. And it changes from year to year, but I love the format because when I was paid as a keynoter, you had to do 40 minutes to an hour.
Yes, exactly.
They did not. Well, people's attention spans has gone down, and 18 minutes is still the outside limit. Most TEDx's now are 12 minutes, and some of them are actually, they give you the 12-minute limit. That's it. So, and so when I write a speech with somebody, it's about 15 minutes, but it's not just about their stories. I have an actual formula that follows the listener's train of thought. So you don't ever start out a speech, or at least I believe you shouldn't start out, let me tell you my story, because people aren't interested yet. What's in their thought bubble, the cartoons have the thought bubble above the head. Okay, so what's in their thought bubble when they first see a speaker get on the stage is, why should I listen to you? What's in it for me?
Exactly.
You better answer that. So
Right
I
now.
call it lead with the need.
Yeah.
So step one in my formula of 7 steps is lead with the need.
Love
And in the TED Talks, it's a worldly need. It's
Yes.
things like we have a crisis in this country and they're 18 years old. They're the kids who age out of foster care. That's
Right.
how one of my TED Talkers started her speech, because it's a global problem we can all identify with. And that the purpose of the first step is to get the audience from here, why should I listen to you? What's in it for me? To here.
Yeah. Leaning in.
Oh, yeah,
Leaning in.
that's a problem. I recognize that. And then the second thought bubble part, they say, so what you got?
Yeah.
What's your solution?
Yeah. Right. Right.
And then you have to put it in smoke short words. They don't care about you until after you give them something for them.
That's it.
Then step 6 out of 7 is, okay, audience goes, what's your story? Like, what's underneath? Are you only in it for the money?
Yeah.
Like, what's your why? What keeps you motivated when you're not making any money?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we draw that story out. I mean, that story is fascinating. But even Colin Powell, and such an experienced speaker, and I was on the stage with Maya Angelou, and she was alive as well. And even these wonderful speakers who are booked simply for their story, they're given a lot of money to do the keynote, to get the butts in the seats in the conferences, and also to be, to tell their story. Even they started out with the needs of the audience, with the fact that there were entrepreneurial women, or whatever the audience was at the time. Colin Powell and I spoke in the Stockton Business Summit, and it was all these business leaders that had to draw lottery to be able to get seated because the auditorium was limited.
Yeah.
And it was but he still started out with business today is facing da-da-da. I mean, he's Colin Powell. He could have started out, here's my biography.
Yeah, exactly. That is so rich, and you talk about the need. The yesteryear when you started speaking over 30 years ago, and you've spoken on thousands of stages. The issue is, it used to be you get paid an honorary and so forth, and now it's shifted quite a bit. And so you might get an honorary, but mostly you're, selling maybe something at the back of the room or whatever. And you're talking about you need to definitely have a lead and you have
a purpose for your speech. I always make fun.
A book and a hook. I'm sorry. Is that
a book and a hook? That's good, because I always tell speakers we have to be irreverent about our profession. I was a professional speaker. Yes, I was paid big bucks, but here's what I always say: the last thing a person in pain needs is a keynote speech.
Right.
I mean, that is funny, but actually true. I don't have reverence for that. Right. The keynote speech, you always have to have a purpose. Right. And in my day, I didn't even have a consulting practice. I didn't even have a book till 96, when my audiences would say, do you have a book on that? And I said, no, but I probably should. But I never even wrote a book. But nowadays, a speech is a brochure, a live brochure of your personality to lead to something else. So do you have a consulting practice? Do you have a book to sell? Do you have something other than speaking? You can't make your living anymore as a professional speaker unless you're a celebrity.
Right. Exactly.
And then you don't need the money anyway.
Exactly.
Then, some of them do it for free, but they didn't used to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, of course, that the speaker's job is to help the audience, worldwide audience, let's all remind ourselves of that, with a pressing need to solve their problem or their pain, because that's what they want. And if you come in with a salve for a wound, they're still gonna be with you in the 12th minute, right?
That's right. That's right. And so lead with the need. And it's so funny, ever since you booked me for this interview, my blog that's going out Monday, I do only one a month, and I send to my mail list, but it's also on my website under blogs. And the working title is it ever too late for the TEDx stage? Because I have people, women over 60 that go, I don't know, is it too? And I go, on the contrary, it's never too late.
Never too late.
No,
Never.
because the TED people, how they choose the speaker is something called dues paying activity.
Yes.
And how it can help solve a problem right now. Mm-hmm. And so the dues paying activity is so important that some of the young people that come to me and say they want to do a TED Talk, I go, after we do our 30-minute, conversation that doesn't cost them anything, I say, why don't we just grow your business? Because they're not ready yet. They don't have enough dues paying activity, but some do. There are people in their 30s doing TED Talks because they have that dues paying activity, the experience it needs to solve the problem of the world right now.
Yeah, and for the listening audience, Mimi talks about dues paying in her book, and I have it on Kindle here, Pitch Perfect, right? And she talks about if you've had training or teaching jobs, you've collected this body of knowledge, right? And then your speeches that's the genesis for your speeches. That's some of the fodder. And so you talk about you're known as you're not a prima donna speaker. And that is so impressive because there are prima donna speakers out there.
That's so cool that you remembered that part of the book, because my second chapter is called So You Want to Be a Keynote Speaker. And then my first sentence is probably not. You really have to devote 24/7. People go, oh, I'll do the keynote speaking on the side. And I go, no, you won't. You really need to get booked. Yeah. And so I try to get people to just speak about your business. Just when people say, what do you do? Try not to start with, well,
oh, I know.
I know. So that's part of
You start off the book. It's so cool. You start out the book. There you are in an elevator in a grocery store line on the sidelines of the kids' soccer field. Someone turns to you and says, what do you do? What do you say? And this is what everybody needs to be prepped with. You got to have that elevator speech. Yeah, you might tweak it a nickel based on the context, but boy, we can't be like,
Yeah. And my favorite thing is the chapter on the elevator pitch is, it's not really a pitch, it's a question to engage them, because you only have, what do you have, like 15 seconds?
Yeah.
So if they say, what do? You say, you know how some people hate speaking in front of groups? And they go, yeah, my sister-in-law. And I go, and then you say, I help with that. And they go, really? What do you do? I'm a speech coach. Do you have a card? Boom, here it is. That's it. The elevator is not like, I'm Mimi Donaldson and I help draw out speeches so that you can preach your business. No, nobody wants it. That's not the elevator. That's the 30-second networking group pitch. That's when you have to plan out.
Okay, these are golden nuggets, everybody. These are mic drop moments. She just spilling them out, but these are impressive as all get out, because the entire idea is you can't ask a question or put out a statement that a person goes, oh, I know that, right? Because that end of conversation. I don't even care if the door of the elevator is open. You're done. And so this whole, I did one 100 years ago, and I said, you know how over 51% of American women fear becoming a bag lady, and it cuts.
That's a good one for a financial person.
And they're like, oh yeah, I am too.
That's really good.
So
yeah, that's like the elevator question of, how lots of people are more afraid of running out of money than running out of life
right now.
That was one that one of my clients used, because she's a financial advisor. So you get people to go, yeah. And then you say, I help with that. And they say, what do you do? Now they're asking you a question.
Right now. And even if the door of the elevator opens, I say, if you're in that second sentence, or you're in that query, I don't care if that's your floor or not. And he's getting out, they're getting out, you're getting out with them, and you're finishing that thought until you
that's so cool. I didn't put that in my book, but I wish I had. Oh, Debra, that's really good.
Yeah, for sure. Because the idea is, it's not like we're always wearing a sandwich sign on, this is what I do. Yet people are in need, and some people don't even understand the severity of the need they have. They're just kind of like, "Grr," and a pall has been cast over them. They have no luster. They're dull, and they're not really. But someone just needs to come out with a buffer, and say. And so these kind of
Oh, that's a
engaging
good way to think of it.
questions, right?
Oh, I love that. They've got this wonderful thing. It needs to be buffered up and polished up. It's
Yeah,
kind of like the whole drawing it out thing,
right now,
isn't it?
totally,
It's
totally.
because it's there. They've got it.
Yeah,
People have personalities. The great thing about speaking to grow your business instead of just your website and your brochure and your written stuff is that speaking shows your personality more than anything else in the world.
yes,
I
yeah,
mean, your vibes are there, even on Zoom.
right now, right
It's
now.
right there. It's like there. You can tell.
And so, and I mean, you just, I mean, I could listen to you because I think that you've got a ton of humor behind those years, and you just throw stuff in that probably has the audience in stitches. So,
Well, that was my claim to fame. I'll tell you, there weren't a lot of women making the men's salary at that time. In the 90s, the reason they hired me was not only the Disney thing on my resume, they kind of liked the Columbia Masters, but
hello.
they mostly liked my videos that you used to have to send out video. And it was because I'm funny.
Yeah.
And it's not jokes funny. It's situational humor. And most of it came from being in those human resources classes and the things that the guys came up with that they had to supervise their employees, that you can't make that stuff up.
Oh, that was a
Reality
lot of fodder for
is,
you.
oh, it's called situational humor. And that's what I used. And I've always come from a very funny family. So humor was in our bones, but to make it corporate and intelligent and still funny,
Yeah.
that's why I got hired. And so everybody who works with me, I tell them I will find the funny. Even if they think their job is so boring, there is something funny
Yeah.
because pain plus time equals humor. So the client that drove you crazy 5 years ago is now a hilarious story.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hilarious 5 years later.
Yeah, it is.
It's not funny when it happens,
No, it's not. No.
but the high maintenance people that drove you crazy, it's hilarious now, but you just need to know how to phrase it so that you're not being cutting
Yeah.
and critical, but you're being fun.
There you
I
go.
always say speaking is show me the movie and let me in on the jokes.
Oh, good.
That's my new thing now. It's not in the book because the book was written a while ago. But the difference between a book and a speech is the people in a speech are leaning back and they want you to do the work. Show me the movie and let me in on the jokes. And that's what you have to do. You got to
Yeah.
show them the movie and let them in on the jokes. They kind of want the inside baseball story of
Yeah.
stuff. They want to know the behind the scenes thing, whatever you're saying, not private stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like really let's laugh together.
Right now.
I'll let you in on that joke.
Yeah.
And then we will laugh together. And I just came up with that in the last year. You talk to women over 60, I'm telling you, you don't even get good until you're 60,
There you
as
go.
far as I'm concerned. I mean, I just think I made most of my money after age 50. I mean, that's when I was on the stage with Colin Powell, not 2000? I'm born in 1940. I was 52 years old.
Wow.
Yes, that's when I was speaking with celebrities and stuff. So 50 to 65, I made the most money in my career because now you know stuff.
You know a lot.
You know stuff and you're not embarrassed by
That's right. And
stuff.
you're
And
wearing purple if you want, right? I mean,
you can claim your power and you can get up there. You still can't cuss.
yeah, right.
I do not. No. I'm still HR.
Yeah. No,
So no.
I don't think cussing is necessary. I don't do it. So
No, I love stand-up comedy. When I watch it on Netflix or Comedy Central, I always think it's research. It's not really watching TV, it's research. But if somebody uses the F word within the first 30 seconds, I delete. I press pause and I delete because it's cheap.
Yeah, it's too.
It's cheap. If you can't get a laugh without doing that,
Thank you.
come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
That is so good. I couldn't agree more. So you then not only crafted with your proteges the speech, the stories, you dropped that from them, the stories, and what was the problem that they were seeking to provide the solutions for, the relief from. Then you did speech coaching with regard to the delivery. So talk to us about, how you moved with the client, or how you might move with the client that calls you from our group and say, all right, we're going to get together the first time, and we're going to talk about, and I'm just spitballing, talk
Right.
about the ideas and where it is that you think is a problem and an idea worth sharing, and what's your solution.
Ooh.
And then,
well, it's interesting because when somebody wants to do a TEDx, they really know. Here's how I put it. Okay, so this is a great story, and I'm going to put this in the next blog because this is from Monday's blog.
okay,
I tell this to every client. Oh, I think I put it in the last blog. It's on my website under blogs. So people go, what shall I put in my TED Talk? I've done, university lectures, and I've written 3 books, and I go, okay, here's the deal. You're sitting there, there's a voice that comes in your head. It's either booming or quiet, but it's very significant. And it says to you, Debra, you have 15 more minutes to live as Debra on this plane on Earth. 15 more minutes. You must spend them, Debra, on a stage. You must talk the entire time. The audience is the world. What is the 15 minutes of material that you cannot leave this earth without telling them, the telling of which can transform their lives completely because it transformed yours? 3 takeaways is what the TEDx people want. And that's what they're talking about. In the submission forms that we do after we write their speech, it's like, what are 3 takeaways the audience is going to get from this TEDx? And you have to list them. And those are that 15 minutes I'm talking about. That is so important. It's your life lessons. It's the thing you need to pass on in your last 15 minutes of life when you have to keep talking the whole time. And most of the people that I interview who want to do a TED Talk, they pretty much know about 1 or 2 of them. They know. They kind of know. And they say, oh, you mean my best stuff? And I go, yeah, your best stuff. The stuff, if they're a speaker already, the stuff that people have thanked you for. The stuff that you got emails about and said, oh, I told that story to my sister-in-law and she really liked it. It's that piece. It's like Tony Bennett singing I Left My Heart in San Francisco. He had to sing at every single concert. And I didn't realize that until someone came up to me before a keynote and she said, are you going to do the lunch story about men and women? Because they go to lunch differently. She goes, are you going to do the lunch story? And I went, yeah. And she goes, good, because I brought my sister-in-law and I try to tell her it, but I don't do it like you do. So you're going to do that story, right? So it was kind of like asking Tony Bennett, you're going to sing I Left My Heart in San Francisco, aren't you? So you've got what I call some signature stories.
Yes.
And they only take 3 minutes. I mean, they're 2 or 3 minutes each. They're not 15 minutes. Nobody wants to know your whole thing.
Right.
But it's just, it's amazing how your audience will tell you what your best stuff is.
Yeah, and you write in your book here that the when you get a thank you note and people express like, oh my God, that lunch story, oh
yes,
wow, that just really hit home, and so now what hit as heartwarming to people, or at least
exactly.
And if it's like radio, one person says something and it represents, depending upon the demographics, 50,000 people, right?
It does. And that's how you know. And so when people say, well, how do I toot my own horn? How do I talk about myself? I go, do you save the emails that say thank you for this and that? And they go, yeah. And I go, well, what do they thank you for? Oh, they thank me for being careful and precise. Oh, great. Okay. What else? Oh, they thank me for caring. If I'm a financial person or an insurance person, they thank me for holding their hand during the hard times. I mean, that's good stuff.
Letters of appreciation. Just
That's
bang them
right.
out.
But that's what you pick out. And that might lead you to your 3 takeaways that are the most important things to share on that TEDx stage.
Right.
That leads you right to it. The audience will lead you.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're going to want to know this authentic person, this unique person. Of course, we're all unique. They're going to, once you've laid out that, this is a problem. Everybody, this is a problem. And raise your hand if you think this is a problem. It's a problem. And so, yet here's, and you do that. This ability to then relay that which other people have found impactful to them about your personality, your delivery, your humor, whatever. I believe it gives them the window into your personality and your integrity. And there's like, oh my God,
Exactly.
boy, she really came through. Yeah, what I'm seeing, she really is that caring person. And so I think it just cements, right? And so I think to use that third party is excellent.
Well, that's the other thing, is that when you're writing, nobody's really seeing you. They
Right.
see your writing,
Right.
but they don't see you. When you're on stage or even on a Zoom, I always tell my speakers, you're kind of naked.
Yeah.
You can't even tell one little fib. On a resume, if you were somewhere for 4 years, you could actually say you were there for 5 years. Nobody, they might check, they might not.
Mhm.
On stage, if you tell them you started your business in 1984, you better have started it, because now transparency, everybody can find out and fact check you. And even before this age of transparency, even in the 90s, I was telling people, you must be completely truthful on stage, because your vibes it'll be weird and people don't know why they're going like this, but something hit them wrong, because you're so naked up there.
Yeah. And there will be people in the audience that are body language experts, right? And just that kind of thing spreads, right? And somebody gets a little weird feeling like, and then the person beside them, you just don't want that. All right.
Well, I always say there's 2 things the audience won't forgive you for.
Oh,
because
good.
people go, I have a hoarse voice. Should I change my voice? I go, no, your voice is fine. Oh, but I want to use notes. Can I use notes? Yes, use notes. People love when you use notes, because now they know you're not going to go, well, let's see. Oh, I forgot to tell you. They don't want that. So the 2 sins are, number 1, don't make your audience nervous. Life is hard enough. Don't make them worry about you. Don't get up and tell them, oh, I'm nervous. I'm not.
Oh, that drives me batshit.
No, don't do that. And the other thing is, yes, take your notes. Some people take their whole speech and they put it on the cards just in case. Do people care if you look down? No, they don't care. Just don't make them nervous. Step number 2, don't be phony. Be yourself. So I used to sit at lunch tables with people and then get up to do the lunch keynote. So at lunch tables, I'm sitting with with some of the people, and then I get up and do the keynote in front of like 500 people. And if I had started the keynote this way, thank you, Erin, for your wonderful introduction. I'm thrilled to be with you all here today. That's not me. That's not the me that just had lunch with them. So they're going, ew, and it's like somehow the whole audience vibe. So you have to be yourself, which is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy in front of 1,500 people. You've got to do practice. People go, I want to be a speaker. I go, do you have a speech? Let's write a speech. Then you got to do it for free. My TEDx talkers, they have to do it 50 times for an audience before they go on the TEDx stage. Yes, we can finish writing the speech. Yes, I can help them memorize it. But then you have to bribe your friends first. Okay, I'll buy you dinner if you listen to this. You have to do whatever you need to do to get that 50 times in. Wow. Because you have to not just deliver the material, you have to dance with it.
Yeah.
Because they don't let you have notes in TEDx.
No, absolutely not. And the other thing that not many people understand is that when you're funny in a TEDx, and I did have a couple funny lines, you got to, so I mean, I had that thing down, right? And it wasn't 18, but it was, I probably butted up against more than 17 minutes. But
Good.
you've got to allow 30 seconds or more for the audience to laugh, because you can't keep talking. You're
That's right.
for them to respond to you. So that you say something and it takes them just a nickel of time, and then they laugh, and then a couple more and
Right.
they laugh, and you got
That's
to
right.
wait. So that's sometimes
Yes, you've just pointed out the secret, because it's a conversation. And so when we write 13 minutes of material, it's going to take 15 or 16 minutes. Because the first thing that when you say, here's your need, situation, or problem, you're saying, I got you. And the audience goes, oh, I got that you got me. They're delighted. They're delighted. Their delight takes a moment, and then you have to answer back. I got that you got me.
yeah.
I got that you got that I got you. And so it keeps going back and forth like that. That's the difference between a speech and an article you read out loud. It's not an article you read out loud.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, you want to have that kind of the pause. The power is always in the pause.
The power of the pause.
I walked out. This was hysterical. I walk out, and we had a dress and everything, and the mic was on my collar, and the very same outfit. And we had turned, and I had turned, and I had the thing in the back of my skirt. And I walk out, and even before I said one word, I'm just on the red dot, and the microphone started to pop.
Whoa.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is a TEDx. Surely they're not going to let this happen. And somehow the grace of God, I was able just to start right in, and don't worry. Well, God, I thought I'd never forget the beginning. Don't be upset if your husband comes home late at night, or if he even doesn't come home at all. He's probably helping you or something. I was just like,
Right.
I'm 70, however many, 2019, 6 years away. But the fact was, it continued to pop.
Wow.
And I had to
Oh,
go
I've
through,
never heard of that.
and so yeah, and so like I thought, oh, it's my collar, and then I thought, no, it's the back of my skirt. And so I'm delivering at the same time I'm trying to figure out,
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, that must have really been
wasn't pretty, wasn't pretty.
painful for you. But no one knew, right, that you were stressed, because you didn't make them nervous.
I didn't break state for sure.
No,
And when I
you
came
didn't.
off the stage, the theater
Oh,
manager came up to me and hugged me, and he said, I have had professional actors break state with less than you went through. He said, that was so good that you did not break state. And I was like, oh my
oh,
God.
wow.
It was, even if you listen to it now, and now I've tipped you off. Listen, now they brushed it up. And what's on
Sure.
there now is still a little bit poppy. But, the fact is, that 50 times, I did not practice in front of another audience 50 times. I had done it 50 times in myself. And yet that is such good advice, because it has to be just as natural as your first, middle, and last name right now.
Yes, because you have to practice with people to see their reactions and play off them.
Right now.
And
So,
it's really hard. And interesting. Some clients start out, they want to do a TEDx, but then at the end they go, you know what? I'll just turn this into a keynote. I'll get paid. Because TEDx doesn't pay you, you don't pay TEDx. But if you're a keynoter, you'll get paid. And so they go, I don't want to do all that. And sometimes they start making money on the speech even before they get on the TEDx stage. Because
nice.
what we've crafted is valuable.
Very
And
valuable.
people need speakers at meetings. So yeah, I always say they start out being TEDx talkers, they end up being keynoters.
But that's good. That's great. That's great.
What they want.
So talk to us about one of your most improved students that did a TEDx. So they came to you and they're a little bit rusty, and you're probably thinking to yourself, where are we going with this? Is this going to work? I mean, did you ever have a person that you really, kind of were thinking, I don't know if it's going to work or not? Or did people
No, because I don't pay Well, I don't pay much attention to the delivery. I mean, I'm a wordsmith.
Yeah.
I do not tell them move. I'll say step forward after this paragraph or whatever, but I won't say, okay, here's how you use your hands and let's modulate your voice. I don't get that. I don't do that. I have a hoarse voice. I've always had a hoarse voice. I've had voice coaches say, Meme, we can get rid of that. And I went, yeah, it's worked well for 77 years. I think it's going to be okay. It's working for me. So, but I don't do I say you must be you and passionate about your words. So we write the words that are going to light up the eyes. Because if I look for the sparkle in the eyes, it's their sentence. We transcribe it into the Google Doc. They say it, and then even reading the speech out loud, they'll change it slightly. And I'll keep up and I'll change it, and they'll go, why did you change it from what we had written? I say, because everything you say is better than anything we write. And that's a mantra. That's a mantra. Because a speech is not an article you read out loud. So when you're practicing it and you're wanting me to get it, there's an intention there. Yeah. And if you change a word around or two or the sentence around, it means that you want, the intention is for me to get it. So it's better than what we wrote. It's better than what we wrote. So we edit and edit and edit because they read it aloud. They read it aloud. And every time they read it aloud, it changes ever slightly and gets better.
Love that.
And that's what my client the other day said. Oh, Mimi, we're doing this. Oh, we're editing. She goes, we couldn't have written this in a weekend. I said, no, you can write an article in 2 hours.
Yeah.
But you can't write a speech because it has to be this way.
Yeah, you talk about how long does it take to write your TEDx talk? And you answered, your whole life.
Your whole life. That was the last blog when I talked about the voice in your head that said you have 15 minutes to live. So, yes, it takes your whole life, but we can get it down on paper in 3 months, once a week. We can do it. Because the framework is there, the formula is there, we fill in the blanks, then we edit our little hearts out. Then it's all about reading it out loud and mushing it and getting to dance with it. And the speaker themselves will add in little stuff. They'll add in little stuff and I'll go, oh, that's great. We'll add that. Yeah, say that. That works.
Yeah, the throw-ins sometimes are some of the most valuable.
Throw-ins. Oh, I never called it that. That's really good.
Yeah. Now talk to us about the arc, because there's a whole science to this. There's a science and an art to crafting, I think, a TEDx. Talk to us about the arc in terms of the theme and all that.
The arc, arc, or the art like art?
No, the arc of the story.
Okay, so lead with the need. Here's your need. Yeah. Here's the problem. Here's the solution. The third thing on the arc is the audience is saying, well, who are you? Why should I listen to you? That's when you do your credibility couple of sentences. Like my credibility is that I was 30 years in front of audiences of thousands. So how many speaker coaches can say that? Not very many. In fact, none. So, I'm the one to work with. Would you want to work with a person who made her living speaking, or do you want to work with a person who says they know how to write a speech? No. So then the arc goes on to, here's 3 valuable things. Here's my, that's the 10 minutes of the 15 is like, here are the takeaways. And that's my steps 4 and 5. Then step 6 is people are going, well, wait a minute. Enough with the facts and like stuff. What's your deal? What's your underneath story? Like, why are you drawn to this? And some people have great stories and other people, I don't have like a tragedy story, but I have, I want the sparkle in the eyes. And that's, and then the 7th step is the call to action. So the 7 steps are a real arc, as you call it. I've never called it an arc, but it is.
Yeah. So time out. Call to action, and you can't sell from the stage, but you know how to sell from the stage. So, in a true TEDx, my understanding, at least when I did it, you couldn't do a call to action at all.
No, you don't do you call to action for you.
You're not saying,
you
see
do
my
the
website,
world call to action.
There you go.
Go forth and be generous. Go forth and repair the world. Go forth and, You do the call to action for the world. In your marketing speech, which I love writing people's marketing speeches with them, then you do your call to action. And you say, I offer a free 30-minute call. It's complimentary. I call it a clarity call. We get clear on your purpose in speaking your speech, what your speech is, and if we are a match to work together. Because I only work with people that I am a match with.
Right.
I think age gives you this wonderful privilege to not work with every single person that comes along. This is my privilege. I know I'm privileged, and I don't take my privilege for granted. I'm privileged in many, many ways, including my dad paid for graduate school and college. I mean, I realize that's very special.
Yeah.
But I am privileged in that I can only work with people that I vibe with.
Love that. Well, that's the spice of life. And that's the exact venue and the safe space that we're creating. We Can Do It Women is that we're now of the age where like it doesn't bother us anymore when people maybe raise their eyebrow, because we've been there and we've done that. And it's our imprint is indelible in its own way. And our influence is that which I believe can be compounded. Of course, I'm going to bring a financial term in here, compounded to all women, because when we see you out there, Mimi, we know, oh my gosh, if she can do it.
Exactly.
And then her friend Janet on the couch says, Mimi, I would have paid you for that. 7 golden words. Thank you, Janet.
Oh, those 7 words. But see, that's a lot of women business owners start their business because they realize, you mean I can get paid for something I love?
That's it. That's it. And then yet we listen to baseball players saying, I don't believe they're paying me to do this because this is what I love. But somehow that seems to be kind of rote. And then when we looking at our skills, we somehow put a lens in front of it. I don't know what we do.
It's true though, because I always say your why story is what you would do anyway if you didn't need to get paid. And you and I are lucky because we would still be doing what we're doing
right now. Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't so lucky.
I'm with you on there. And yet it's never too late. And so it's never too late. And we're
never too late.
Give every woman the impetus and the at a girl and come on, get out there from the
That's great
into our own spotlight. Just to close it down, Mimi is authored 4 books. Negotiating for Dummies, Bless Your Stress, It Means You're Still Alive. Love that. Necessary Roughness, New Rules for the Contact Sport of Life. Pitch Perfect, Speak to Grow Your Business in 7 Simple Steps. She has a website, MimiDonaldson.com. She has a free 30-minute consult. She has a blog. This woman has it going on. Anything else that you want to share with us, Mimi?
No, it's been really a pleasure. You are just a lovely person to talk to, and I've learned so much.
Oh, I have too. It's been a real treat for me. And so I want everybody to pop over to MimiDonaldson.com, MIMIDonaldson.com, and sign up for her free newsletter and her blog once a month. Is that what you're doing? Once a month?
Yep, but they're all there from 2011 on. All the blogs are on my website.
Binge read. So, and if anybody still has a little ember inside that I can just wave a little bit of virtual fan over and say, you can be a TEDx speaker. Yes, you can. I want you to reach out to Mimi because I think she's going to just draw out the wisdom in you.
Thank you. It'll be my pleasure.
Thank you so much. So Mimi, thanks so much for being with us. And thank you, viewers, for joining us on the We Can Do It Women show. Remember, I see you and I value you. And your greatest chapter is just beginning. That always chokes me up because it's true. It is true. Every single woman on this show shows us that in spades. So if today's episode sparks something in you, I invite you to wave that fan over the embers of your heart, soul, and mind and get into imagining yourself doing that which is still on your to-do list, before I die list, and get to it, because it is going to bring a smile to your face. a spring to your step, and probably some income, which, might be a good thing to have too. So I'm also going to invite everybody to imagine joining us, get out of the United States and pop over to France for our Wealth and Wellness Retreat, October 25th through November 1st. There's still some spots available. Go to the website, wecandoitwomen.com/retreats. And this has been Rich Beyond Words. Until next time, I'm Debra Morrison, reminding you it's never too late to shine, and pay attention to your money, and it will surely pay you back. Good day.